And we're back in studio with our Greg Buchanan, voice of CPCA Radio and the Tuesday night sports show at the Canadian Brewhouse. So Greg, we talked a little bit about the Bobcats last hour. We're going to switch it to football now, and obviously it's a very exciting time of the year for football fans in this city. Two very strong high school programs, and you really have seen some good signs from the Barons thus far. They're undefeated in exhibition play. Recently, a big win in Red Deer.
Yeah, Hunting is one of the best high school football programs in the entire province in Tier 2, and they go into Red Deer and they win there on the weekend. Lloyd Comp is right at the top of rankings for Tier 2 right now in Alberta high school football. So they went to the provincial final last year. Anything short of getting to that this year is going to be a disappointment for them. It's going to be fun watching this, and more than anything, Friday, September the 28th, is a day to mark on your calendar because that's when Holy Rosary hosts Lloyd Comp, and it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year was a pretty great show-off as well, or standoff as well, I should say. You had two teams with vastly different styles. You know, the Raiders are more of a defensive juggernaut, while the Barons are very skilled on the outside and up front, obviously, with their quarterback and the receivers. Yeah,
and I think you're going to see a lot of that again. Aaron Harper does a great job at Lloyd Comp. Vince Oreo back in the fold again with Holy Rosary. So you're going to see the Raiders program make big strides again here this year. They have become one of the juggernauts in the Tier 3 football in Alberta and have been contending for provincial titles for the last number of years, and expect more of the same this year with both their program as Lloyd Comp's too.
Now, if you can give me a prediction on the spot here, are the Barons finally going to defeat the Raiders in the year-end championship game prior to provincial playoffs?
Yeah, everything's kind of falling in together. Like last year, you kind of thought that was going to be the Barons' year. You got a feeling that the Barons keep on getting better. Maybe this is a year the purple and gold finally do it.
Yeah, I'm going to hold off on my prediction for now, but I'll trust your word on it. We're going to switch gears now back to junior hockey. So obviously the entire country is affected by the tragedy that happened in Humboldt months ago now, and this Wednesday, they're going to have a very special broadcast to start their season. Yeah,
it's really neat. So it's the Broncos against Nipawin. It's going to be on TSN right across the country. The great thing about this is how the hockey community, and for that matter, everybody, not only in Canada, but in the sporting world everywhere, has got in behind the Humboldt Broncos. And to see that game televised nationwide for these young kids playing junior A hockey, it's great to see. And more great thing too, they're having guest broadcasters for their radio games. So you're going to have some big name broadcasters doing some of the Broncos games in Flin Flon and Estevan and Nipawin, so that's going to be great to see.
Absolutely. I know everyone's going to be excited to see that, as will we, and we're going to be excited to talk to you about sports again throughout the year as we really get going here on Primetime Local News. And stick around after the break for more. Welcome back, folks. I'm joined with our Greg Buchanan, of course, the voice of the CPCA radio network and also the host of the Tuesday Night Sports Show at the Canadian Brewhouse. Greg, pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
In studio. I know it's lovely couches and
that's
chairs
awesome.
And such. So we want to talk about a lot of local stuff going on, because obviously September is a very busy time of the year in this part of the country. First up, Lloydminster Bobcats are in an interesting transitioning year, third year of Travis Clayton's tenure as head coach, and a little bit more veteran experience on the roster than last time.
Yeah, I think, what you look at it 3 years. In the first year for Travis, he wasn't left in the cupboard after the RBC Cup. He had to start from ground zero. For the first year, it's kind of a wash. Second year, a lot better last year. Got bigger, got tougher, and now this year, more of a veteran core, have a lot more speed, hopefully a lot more offense, and you're looking at this year maybe making big strides in the AJHL North.
Now that has been one of the things most highly touted so far coming into this season is increased skill, especially up front. Still a little bit of struggle in terms of scoring goals in the first exhibition games, but as we were saying off camera, it's tough to call exhibition play out for being a good indicator of how they'll do offense.
Yeah, don't get too carried away in an exhibition game. You're trying to, juggle your lineup. You're trying to fit defensemen together. You're trying to fit forwards together. So you have a lot of kids trying to make that team. So we really don't play too much in the exhibition games because Travis is trying to tinker with his lineup and hoping kids make Travis have tough decisions to make on whether or not they're going to be on the team. going forward.
Yeah, so that, as you were saying, a couple of local kids are really making that process tough. You know, their regular season starts this weekend, and he hasn't finalized his roster yet.
Yeah, I don't think he will for a bit, you know, and that's the luxury if you have a little bit of extra players at your disposal, that maybe you don't make those decisions right away. Going forward, is if you're deep on the front end, deep in the back end, let's just keep some kids around for a bit and see what happens.
Now, obviously, they have a tough first weekend taking on the Whitecourt, I believe, the Whitecourt Wolverines. How do you expect them to do in that match? Because Whitecourt has typically been one of the stronger clubs in the AJHL North.
Well, they're a Gord Thibodeau coach team, so you know they're going to be hardworking, they're going to be physical, they're going to be tough on the puck, and they're going to have some skill up front. That's a Gord team, and also pretty good on the back end. So it is a tough test, but you know, you hope the Bobcats come ready to play, because if you don't get against Whitecourt, it could be a long night for you.
Yeah, and obviously we'll have to rely on some strong home contingent support on Saturday.
Yeah, you know, nice to see. We have some great local hockey here. You got the Bobcats, the midget AAAs, you have the Bandits. You have some great local hockey, and you hate to see people driving down the road all the time to go away to their hockey, but you have some great local hockey here, so come out and support the Bobcats.
Absolutely, and we'll see you guys back in an hour, and we'll have more talk with Greg Buchanan on Primetime Local News.